So I've talked to you a lot about making sure that your primary call to action, secondary call to action, visual hierarchy, all that sort of stuff is important for your website. But did you know that there's two ways that you can make sure that a lot of those elements fall within the eye line of how your visitors naturally look at a website? Let's check out two ways that you can make sure that your website not only looks good, but also can convert better so that you take them on a fantastic journey so they know exactly what you want them to do and making sure that they understand what it is that you do. Hey guys, Roger here from Reanimation Design. Back in 2006, there was a study done by the Nielsen Norman Group, which is a big group that does a lot for UX and web design and UI experience. And they did a comprehensive study, which is probably still one of the most cited studies. And they had discovered that when we look at websites, we look at it in two ways: the F pattern and a Z pattern, or as I like to call it, my high school grades and the Zorro symbol. But what it comes down to is that when we scan a website, we scan it in a F pattern or in a Z pattern. Now, a lot of times this is going to be done as you get to the header or the hero image that we've talked a lot about in the website, but it can also be done not only in your hero image, but throughout your website as well. So I want to show a couple of examples of an F pattern and a Z pattern in a website so that you can better understand it and know how to implement it into your website. So let's check it out. All right, so we have two different patterns, an F pattern and a Z pattern. So there's a couple of different ways that you can use them. Typically, how it's going to be is that a Z pattern is you're going to want to use that typically on your hero, the top part of your website. And the F pattern is normally going to be for longer things of text. So if you've ever read a blog and you've gone across and you skip down a couple lines, go across, skip down maybe a line or two, and you continue that pattern. The longer the text, the less likely everybody is to read it unless it's really engaging. But let me show you a couple ways that you can use them on each in different ways. So this first one, in Google search results, typically we're using a F pattern, right? You're not typically going all the way to the right over here and looking, but you got your header, and you may look like Boston Celtics. You're kind of reading. I typed in best NBA team 2024, and so you're looking at it, and really what you're doing is that you're just kind of looking across. You're going across, and you're just looking at the header, and that is how your website should kind of be. So you can use that not just obviously in search results, but you also can use that with your blog. So you want to make sure, okay, you got your header. They may read a couple of lines, and then they may go down and then read this. And really what they're looking for is they're looking for something that's going to pique their interest. And you want it to be quick. You want to make sure that you have a good hierarchy, not just for SEO, but also for readability. So F pattern is typically going to be in a blog or longer places of text. However, though, you can use it throughout your website as well. So let me give you an example here. BigCommerce. This is a website that obviously helps with e-commerce and all that. So you have an F pattern. Now, this may look like a Z pattern, but here's the thing. You want to make sure that the pattern, you want to make sure how you place things is important. So while this may look like a Z pattern, because you're going to go across and see that and come down over here and then go back over here, really what this is that this is an F pattern. So you have the logo right here. When you go across and you see that, and you're like, oh, okay, because then you're going to naturally come down over here and you're going to see this, but also this the CTAs, get a quote, and your secondary, request a demo, which we talked about last week, is also going to be there. And then you have this right here. You have a video, which you may want to check, but then you come down here and you're like, oh, okay, and you do it again, and then again you can see that they're doing it throughout the website. So e-commerce, so you may kind of like, okay, looking at it, and if that's kind of what you want to do. But so this is, while it could be a Z pattern, really it's more of a F pattern, because again, you're just looking, you're coming over here, and then you're just going to kind of skip down if that's something that interests you. Now for Z patterns, it's going to be similar to that. Now, probably one of the biggest proponents of Z patterns is going to be the website or the brand StoryBrand, and they're very big proponents of that. So here you have you have the logo on the left. You go across, you can see the menu. They put their primary call to action right here on the right hand side, but then they also again put it here as you're going across, and that's a lot of times how websites are. So you have that Z pattern. You have logo, primary primary call to action. They have, again, the primary call to action again, and then they go to the right with the secondary call to action. And so that they're very big proponents of that. I typically will follow a lot of what they do, but this is a Z pattern, and this works really well. You not only can use the Z pattern typically on your website in the hero, but you can also use it throughout your website as well. So honestly, I've done it on my website. So you have this, you have the Z pattern in that you have the text on one side and the text on one side and image on the other. So here you got the text, image, cool. You got image, text, image, and it just kind of goes back and forth and back and forth. And that's one way that you can implement the Z pattern on there. So the way that you want to do that is, remember that F pattern is usually going to be for longer blocks of text like a blog, and a Z pattern is typically going to be for the website scanning across looking for information. So you could utilize both of those, but remember, what you're doing the whole time is you're just making sure that your visitor is drawn to where you want them to go so that they understand what it is that they need to know and what you want them to do. So make sure that you utilize the F and the Z pattern effectively in longer blocks of text and throughout your website. I hope this was helpful. So I hope that those examples were helpful for you, as you kind of can see how to implement a F pattern and a Z pattern throughout your website, not just in the hero image, but throughout your website as well. Making sure that you're pointing and directing your visitor to the most important elements of your website so that they know exactly what you do, how it benefits them, and what you want them to do next. I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope that it works well for you. If you have any questions about it, drop some comments in the comment section. Check out the description for more resources, and don't forget to subscribe, like the channel, and I look forward to seeing you next time.